Hello, everybody, and I hope you're all having an amazing day. I am very excited because today we're going to dive into some more Chanmina, and I was completely blown away by her first tape performance of Bijin, and I'm very excited that we are going to dive into yet another first tape performance of one of her songs called Harenchi. I hope is how you pronounce this. And I love the fact that we get she's so talented that she just flips from this almost sweet, like really like beautiful, like talented young lady here into this badass, absolute cool as fuck, dope, whatever you want to say, like rapping queen. And I cannot wait to see her do this again. So let's not waste any more time. Let's dive straight in. Here we go. Ooh, love the dress. That's cool. That's cute. Everybody there? Everybody ready to rock and roll?
大丈夫ですか?
Are we ready? Oh, okay. Damn.
お願いします.
Let's do it. Oh, a little jazz feel to it. That's cool.
落とさないから帰ったの.
Oh.
君しかいないとか言ってよ. ふらつきたいから愛したの. ラリラリラタタララ.
Oh.
愛に覚えがあるから花を描いたの. 大人びてしまった私は昨日色で遊んでいたの. Yeah, あっちもこっちも体を任せてみてもなんでもなんでもなんでもなんでもないの. そばがしそばがしそばがしこの気心に誰が気づくというの. どうでもいいからな.
Okay. We're gonna try and make this a little bit more smoother, I think, than the last video. I kind of want to break it up into sections when we dive into these lyrics, so that it's more like we get a piece of the music here, or the song we'll say, and then we dive into it and kind of dissect what she's talking about here and try to get a nice little good message out of it, if you will. So cool, right? Before we go in this chorus here, let's go back through this a little bit here again. So we're starting here. Okay, so I went home because you didn't give me a call. Okay, so we'll just start right here. Let's see what we can kind of piece apart here. Just tell me I'm the only one. Okay. Did you say, okay, so I loved because I wanted to wander. Okay, I wonder if that's going to tie into the next line coming up here in a little bit. But interesting, the idea of just this first verse right here, I loved because I wanted to wonder. I'm almost wondering if it's kind of like the idea of saying, like, I loved because I was curious about that feeling that comes with being in love, you know? I was wondering, it's almost like she wondered what that, you know, experience was like to feel love for somebody, if you will. Let's keep going. This part's so cool. Whoa, I love that. Love seeing someone familiar. Because I grew up too fast. That's kind of almost interesting to kind of like say, like, it was like a flower, if you will. So I drew a flower because I grew up too fast, and almost that connection of like a flower grows more quickly than like us humans, obviously, but she's taking that idea of like I grew up too fast, like a flower almost grows like really quickly in a way. I think kind of maybe kind of make that association. This is the line I was referring to, saying that before she was curious, she felt, or it was like she loved because she was wandering. Saying now I was playing around with my sexuality, so like she was not necessarily playing around with like the idea of, well, maybe, I don't know, there could almost be two different meanings here. It could almost be like the idea of like I was playing around with my sexuality, like I was playing around with like, you know, what gender am I interested in a way, but it also could be almost like I was playing around with my sexuality, like playing around with my, you know, with discovering myself, if you will, you know, like discovering, you know, going back to the idea of growing up, you know, she was growing up, discovering more about herself as a woman, and, you know, going through the, you know, motions of growing up as a, you know, young girl, and then obviously into a teenager and so on and so forth. So that's kind of like maybe what it's kind of like tailored towards, the idea of throwing back to that, you know, because I grew up too fast, I was playing with my sexuality, you know, I was growing up too fast, trying to figure out who I was as a person, who I wanted to be as a person, you know, going through all the crazy hormones that obviously, you know, really everybody goes through, but in this case we'll say for her as a girl, or as a woman we'll say, you know, that's kind of like what they're going to try and draw on here. See, here and there I let my body go with the flow. So after a while she learned like, okay, I'm just going to let my body go with the flow. I'm just going to kind of let myself grow up naturally the way that my body wants me to, in a way, you know? To this I see, but still I'm nothing. Going back to almost, I think that, you know, maybe like the harsh criticism she got when she first started off as an artist. You know, people calling her ugly, people thinking she's not like, you know, attractive enough to be an idol and whatnot, or to, you know, have a music career, you know, because obviously looks are such a strong, prominent thing for some reason in like Asian pop and whatnot. So, and you guys are even mentioning that she got turned down by a lot of industries because they thought that she was ugly or unattractive or whatnot. So the thing is, like, she's saying here, I'm still like nothing though. Like, even though like I let myself grow up naturally and discovering myself, I'm still nothing according to such and such people, or, you know, whatever the case may be. I cried because I don't give a fuck. That's deep, because it's almost like it's almost like reverse psychology. It's almost like she's telling herself, I cried because I don't give a fuck, but I think it's like she cried because she does care. She does unfortunately care what like people think about her, and I think that's something we all can relate to. Like, we really wish that we could be, you know, people. We really wish as human beings that we don't really care what other people think about us. But in reality and spectrum of things, we do care. Unfortunately, we do care how we're perceived by other people. But it's our looks, the way we carry ourselves, our beliefs, our views, or whatever the case may be. But sorry, since we're in the chorus now, I'm not going to pause anymore. Let's go and see what she has for the whole entire chorus here. I love that, actually. That's really cool. Sorry, I just want to point that out real quick, just because that's really cool. I love how she says, like, give me more, and she does this like hand motion, like, come here, give me more. That's cool. I really like that a lot. So, give me something in return. See the finger movements? That's sick. Take me out. Okay, yep, getting the next verse. Okay, so if we look at this chorus here, you know, she's kind of saying this idea of, you know, obviously, okay, let's just go through it real quick. Hold me in my confused heart. So she's confused. She's obviously kind of referring to, it sounds to me like it's almost like a self-reflection song in a way. She's saying, like, or maybe she's just reaching out. She might be reaching out to herself in a way, but also could be reaching out to somebody else, saying, like, hold me in my confused heart. You know, you could see before where she says, like, you know, give me something in return, you know? Let's see what else was there. Yeah, so you just give me something in return. Yeah. Yeah, I don't feel a thing. Yeah, see? Saying that she doesn't feel anything because she lost you, because I've lost you. So she could be saying, like, I've lost the person who I was, or she could be saying that literally to somebody, like, I lost you, so you were the person who was supposed to help me through all this, and you... See, I don't know if she's saying, like, if it's, like, she's reaching out to somebody else, it's kind of just maybe simplicity, or the simplest form of saying, this is, my cry out to you, and where are you? Why are you not here for me? And because you weren't here for me, I don't feel anything anymore. And what was the other one? I'm sorry, what was the other line? Yeah, she forgot. Like, she kind of forgot about it. And it's tricky. This is a little bit more. I'm definitely struggling a little bit more to kind of dissect this one as compared to Bijin. But let's go into the verse next and see what happens. It's really cool to see her, like, giving some good vocals, too. Interesting. Wow. Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, so it definitely sounds like I'm not sure who she's addressing in this song, but she's definitely addressing somebody, because I think it's beyond the idea of her addressing herself. It seems like it seems like we're definitely referring to possibly maybe a loved one. But it was interesting though too, because if you go back through here, you see that she brings up the idea of like kind of like, I don't know if it's mostly Tokyo or also Japan. But let me see. Go ahead and take me out. Yeah, it takes me her. I don't know if that's a direct proper translation. Tokyo sound. Okay. See? Yeah, see, I hate this city. Temperatures are short and everybody's cold. So that could be her maybe saying, like, she... Maybe this is about kind of a bit of the rejection she maybe have gotten about being in Japan, because of the fact that she's part Japanese, part Korean. Maybe Japan didn't accept her like she thought she would. Because I remember I was reading up on her a little bit, and I remember that originally she was going to move to the United States, but a close friend of hers, and also another rapper actually in the industry, told her, no, you need to stay in Japan. And that's how she kind of started getting going and whatnot. But it sounds to me like as she was trying to go through the process of getting going, there could have been maybe some, like, issues with, like, the way Japan was receiving her, possibly. I don't know. Let's keep going though. Yeah, see, everything busy and lovely. Okay. Pale and solid, run high. Interesting. That's a very powerful line there. I feel like anybody's here but nobody's here. It's almost like she's saying everybody that I would expect to be there for me and should be there for me is here, like in this, we'll say in Tokyo, but nobody's actually here. So it's the idea of, like, almost saying, like, oh, my whole entire family and all my friends are here, but nobody's actually physically here for me like I want them to be. Very, very powerful line there. It's very, very strong. Wow. This honestly also kind of goes back to the idea of, like, saying that she can't find love or gratitude in anything I do. That almost comes from that idea of almost like her, like, the confusion that she has right now, as she mentioned before, with her confused heart. This is almost like why, love for somebody is so painful sometimes, because you love somebody so much, and when they don't return it back to you, it almost completely just ruins you and takes away every aspect of you that you love. The gratitude or love of anything you do, even to the point of being alive sometimes. And it's so, love and heartbreak can lead to such a dark path for people, and it can be very painful. I get this one very strongly. These pre-choruses are fucking phenomenal. Oh. Oh man. Oh, wow. Okay, the nice little switch up in the lyrics here where she almost fully commits to that, loss that she's experiencing. Let's go back through again. Let's do it. Let's see what we got here. See, now we're switching from we switched from I went home because, what was it before? Where we're at 317. So we're at 317. Before it was... See, before it was I went home because you didn't give me a call. But then this time, we switched to... I went home because I only want you. So, see, it's almost like she switched the pattern here. It's almost like she went from like the anticipation of like wanting that person and... like she said before, and wanting to experience the love out of curiosity, to now the fact that she realized that when she fucked around and tried to play around with love, she realized, okay, now I need you. She's saying I went home because I only want you. Like, now she needs this person. Moving forward a little bit more. I loved because I wanted to be loved. I loved not because of curiosity. Now I loved because I want to be loved by somebody. And it could have been, even the fact that it's maybe referring to the fact she wanted to be loved just by, like just her country basically in general. Like, she wanted to be loved by the people of Japan. She wanted to be loved as somebody who was an aspiring artist at the time. And, let's see what else. See, she doesn't feel anything now because she lost that person. So she's completely gone numb now because she went and kind of like went and messed around, experienced what love is like, realized how much she wants that person, and now she lost them. Now she's like completely lost, herself in a way. I kind of think I pieced it all together here. Well, let's finish the song, and I'll say my 2 cents. I love her little like cuts in the eyebrows. So cool. I usually only see like guys do that, but it's cool to see like a female do it. That's awesome. Okay, hell to the yeah. What a crazy mix-up from Bijin, because this is what I'm thinking. Right here, we have, I think, the most vulnerable version of Chanmina, I think, that we've seen, at least that I've seen so far, because I've only reacted to the one video of her, obviously. But this is, I think, I was gonna say, this is, I think, more of her emotional you know, more sensitive, more what's the word I want, like, I don't know, I can't think of exactly what the word is, but this is like more of her, like, you know, emotional side, we'll just say, where she kind of almost like expressed to us almost like a whole entire song about the ideas of, you know, what it's like to fall in love. You know, she started off by saying obviously she loved because she was almost like, you know, wondering what it feels like, you know, to, you know, have that feeling of love, if you will, you know, to feel and experience that. And it went from that to going through the motions of like, okay, I fell in love, I feel the sense of love now for this person, but they're not here for me. They're, you know, not showing me any expression. They're not showing me what almost like the definition of what I thought it was like to be in love. And then going back to also, even I almost forgot this part, going back to the idea of saying like, because I grew up too fast, you know, she grew up too fast almost in terms of, from my opinion, she grew up too fast trying, you know, to almost jump into the idea of falling in love too young. Is what I think that whole idea of like mentioning like the childhood and growing up too fast mentioning was, you know, it might have been something where she found, you know, her first love way too young, and it almost was like she was trying to grow up too fast. She was trying to almost jump the gun into something that she was almost too young to experience yet, you know. And I feel like it's a, you know, I feel like experiencing like something like love is something that you gotta be, I feel like, at least, you know, I feel like your first true love should probably not be, in my opinion, at least till you're like a teenager. Like, you need to at least be old enough to know, like, if somebody's doing you wrong. I feel like, you know, you need to be able to understand the idea of like, if a guy is treating you bad, or a girl for that matter, you are able to be grown up enough to say like, I'm gonna leave this situation because it's not good for me. But going back to what she was obviously talking about with the experience of love, it went from the idea of wondering into falling in love, and then the end, she's like, I am like, I actually need you now. I've become almost addicted to you. I need to, you know, I need you by my side, but you've not been there. So because of that, I've lost almost a sense of who I am. I don't feel anything, and now I'm just like a heartbroken person that wishes they never started this maybe in the first place. That's kind of the whole entire spectrum of what she's going for with this song. There's not really necessarily so much a meaning, I think. It's more so like she took the idea of like, you know, her curiosity as a young girl and wanting to experience love and expressing how she kind of went through the, you know, shittiness that can come with falling in love too young. And I think it was brilliant. I love that she chose to sing this, I think, more so than focus on the rapping. Because I think her singing more of its emotional style, you know, really kind of let her express it more in a very, you know, appropriate way, if you will, you know? And I love that. It's so cool to see, like, her diversity already across two songs. You know, going from a badass rapper in Beijing to now Harenchi, yeah. Where she's a lot more emotional and really focused on the vocals and about, you know, expressing the love in a very appropriate way, if you will. But yeah, really fucking cool. I'm very excited to keep diving into her and see like every aspect of her as an artist, because I can already see just across these two videos that she is just an absolute treasure of a human being in terms of being an artist. Sorry, I'm choking on something. Like I'm talking too much. I need some water. But anyways, yeah, this is going to be fun. I'm excited to continue this journey into her and see what else she has for us. I think the next thing that might be the best thing for me to dive into, I think, is her killing verse. So I can kind of get a little quick idea of like some of her songs across her discography. So yeah, you'll have to let me know if you guys want me to do that next. But anyways, with that being said, if y'all enjoyed this video, go ahead and drop a like, subscribe to by clicking down below. I'll go ahead and drop my reaction playlist for Chanmina over here, and you can check out my reaction to her first take for the Jin if you haven't already here. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Show me love, support, and I'll see you all in the next video. Alright guys, bye!